Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on Big Exposed Radio by way of my living room. Uh, but I am here today and I am really excited. We have a special guest, Miss Whitney, and she'll be joining us shortly. But first of all, I've been watching a ton of movies and TV and all those things for my binge-worthy podcast. And today I watched a video. If you're a cat lover, Marnie, you're a cat lover, so you may not enjoy this, but it's called Don't Fuck With the Cats.
Oh, I love it.
And people are weird. They do crazy things without knowing. They don't understand. And I would say, Monty, because you're a cat person, don't watch this because you're going to be pissed off. And they already caught him and all that. But it's on Netflix. So it's just weird. It gives you real. It's a little bit like that series that came out about the guy that kept all the wild animals. It feels a little bit like that. But this guy was like a real serial killer who was addicted to the movie Basic Instincts. So he created this whole elaborate plot and ended up killing a man at the end. It was just weird. He just wanted to be that lady. That's all. But also, in addition to that, I have some really good, great news. Vashta Blue Jewelry, you see the little emblem down at the right-hand side of the screen. We are holding a raffle. So for every purchase you make on our website or in person, because I do a pop-up shop every Friday and Saturday. And more information on that is on the website. So go to www.vashtabluejewelry.com and you'll be able to see the information, or you can shop. So for every purchase you make, every item you purchase, you get an entry into a raffle to win $100. So get that money, before I change my mind and I go on Amazon and I spend it. So you get a gift card with $100 on it. And you can spend it any way you want to spend it. But for every purchase you make, then you'll be in a raffle to be able to win that $100. We already have a number of people. So thank you to all my supporters that are faithfuls that come on out. And like I said, we do a pop-up shop at 36 West 25th Street every Monday and Friday between 12 and 5. So you can come on out. It's very safe. It's open air. I only let a couple people in at a time, and you come in and you buy your stuff and say hello to me and be about your way, So that is Vashta Blue Jewelry, www.vashtabluejewelry.com. I have some other things coming up associated with the jewelry event that I'm going to be a part of. It's like an online social event. And that's about it for the announcement right now. I have a couple more, but I'm going to save them until the end. But without further ado, we have Miss Whitney joining us as my special guest today. How you doing today, Miss Whitney?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. So can you first start off? She's been on here a couple of times, but can you start off with telling people who you are and about that lovely voice of yours?
Oh, hi. Hi, guys. I'm Whitney Chancello. I'm a singer, songwriter, actress in the DMV area. I'm an independent artist. I also do makeup and family vlogs and things like that on YouTube. And I've been here a couple different times, but I'm excited to be here now.
It's our first time on our virtual platform.
Yeah.
She's been to our station a couple of times, and because of this COVID-19, we're here at the station, and I'm not complaining because I do have space to call my own.
Right.
But I liked your energy. Most times you meet performers and they either real standoffish or they're a little aloof, but you have a really nice, pleasant personality. You're very professional and you're talented on top of all of that. And last time you came to the station, you was a new mom. So she's had a baby in all this time. And so let's start off with, how has this pandemic been for you? How have you been able to continue to do your work and still promote? Because I saw the music videos and you've been photo shooting it up. So you ain't stopped, but how have you been able to kind of deal with this pandemic?
So the pandemic in the beginning was really, really hard because I finished my degree from home. I was too bad because I was used to doing online classes, but because I was finishing a musical theater degree, it was really, really hard because how do you perform on through the computer was the question that everyone had. But you know, us as innovators and talented creatives, we found a way to make sure that we got our work done. And now, as you can see, many other theater companies and artists are finding ways to get the job done and perform as much as possible. I haven't been working remotely. I've been working out in the field. So COVID has been definitely life-changing, definitely something that has impacted my life drastically, because now my daughter sees masks all the time and she's so young that she doesn't understand. And I mean, I'm getting through. I'm still finding ways to photo shoot and music videos, and I just did a live performance from Fly Zone, which is in Baltimore, and I plan on continuing to do that. I plan on continuing to do interviews with media outlets like you who are able to still function from home. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. I just did one of my first live concerts from Fly Zone, and that was really, really exciting. It went really, really well. I was able to still have a small, intimate audience, and it went really well. And the benefit of doing online concerts is that you still have that footage. So even if someone wasn't there to record it, like you can put it on your website and people can, you know, watch it for like years to come. So yeah,
I'm loving how it's forcing artists to, one, work together, two, think outside of the box, because I think a lot of artists realized how important our audience was, because even with a lot of the virtual events, at some points throughout this, and in some places still, there's a very limited to no audience. And we learned who are the the arrogant performers who was like, I'm not doing this because there's no audience there, or you know, trying to figure out how to still give a performance without applause. I think this humility is going to be a lesson throughout this, towards the end of this pandemic. We're really going to learn how to be more humble and more respectful to our audience, and not be so assuming and so entitled when it comes to being performers, specifically performers, but artists in general. I think humility is definitely the lesson on the table. In terms of how you work, because you do everything in-house, so how have you learned how to handle the business side of being an artist throughout this?
Okay, so I'm gonna first tag along what you just said. So it was really, really, actually no, it wasn't weird, but I saw how people were freaking out about not having an audience. But I feel like that just forces you, because usually we're getting the theater space, whether it's a stage or not, it's an energy sharing space. So usually the audience is giving you energy and you're giving that same energy times 10 back to them. But what do you do when there's no audience? It's more making sure all of that energy that you have, make sure that like you give all of that through this computer. I think it's a more of a push to make sure that people at home watching this get the show that they are watching, because they are voluntarily watching this. They're not getting up and coming to a event no more. It's not an event no more.
But it's the same thing that happens if the lights go out, or if the sound goes out, or you don't have a mic.
Yeah, you just keep going.
But see, that's the theater, I think, in us, that we understand that, because things go live. When anything is live, it is horrible.
Yeah. So. But any other artist who wasn't trained to be a performer, I think it's a little bit more hard, because there's no audience there jumping around with you. You have to give that. If you don't know how to do that, it's a bit more difficult. Now, the business side, it's become a lot harder, because of course I'm by myself now. My team are my dancers. Like it's me and my dancers and my husband sometimes. And I've partnered with Fly Zone for most like production situations. And I'm very like family oriented when it comes to that. Like the reason why I'm always here on your show is because I know you, I'm comfortable with you, and like I've built that relationship with you. And I think going forward, I'm open to building new and more relationships. But because I'm by myself, I'm very like, okay, I know that this person does this. We've worked together before. Let's go back to them. Like, that's dope. That relationship that I built with them is dope. Let's just build on top of what we've already had. And I found that helped me a lot more being independent. Especially in this time of COVID, my dancers are really my backbone. Like, no, they're not in the room writing the song with me. No, they're not in the room recording with me. But when it comes to performing, I am a performer. I am a performer. Like, even in the studio, I have to act like I'm on stage in order to record a song properly. And anybody that's been in the recording studio with me will tell you, Whitney cannot, like, the energy that she gives when she just sings the song straight through, like she's on stage, is so unmatched to like me just all the time. Like, I can't do that. I have to pretend like I'm on stage when I'm recording. So like having my dancers are super important to me because they're my support system. They're my backbone. Those are my girls. I love them to death. I even was told that I needed to get male dancers before. Not that I'm opposed to it, but I'm such a girl's girl, especially because do so much when I was younger. And I didn't have a lot of female friends. So like having them, like shout out to them because they're such a great support system to me. And they're always down. Like if I'm saying like, oh, let's have a concert tomorrow, they're like, all right, what time are we rehearsing? Like so,
it's great to have that type of unconditional support around you that you can, that's consistent, that you can rely on.
Yeah. So they are a huge part of who I am as an independent artist at the moment. And I'm always like, so let's do it. Like, let's shoot this. Let's do this. Let's do that. And they're always down for the ride. And I'm so happy that I have them. And am I in a rush to get a manager? Hell no, because I had one and it just great. I'm not a micromanager, but I am someone who likes to be involved in everything. Especially when it comes to me. And I don't know if that's like the theater person in me.
Well, because we had to do a lot of stuff ourselves, especially you doing the academic theater. A lot of the stuff had to be done. Like you do your own makeup. You sometimes source your own costumes, you know, so you learn how to do things for yourself. And it's hard to relinquish all of that to someone, but you have to find somebody who is willing to partner with you and not overlook you. And I think that's the thing that you discovered in your work. And right now you're still learning who you are. So you can't, it's hard to ask for help when you don't know who you are. And so now you're learning it. I see a more confident you. So now people are intimidated by, you know, assertiveness, intelligence, talent. They are. And we understand each other, but beyond that, just in general, people are intimidated by that. So if they don't have those things themselves, it's very hard for them to accept it from someone else. So they have to, it's a control thing. So if I can control it, then I feel like I'm as talented or I'm as, you know, professional as you are. But
I just went through a situation like that not too long ago. But what I learned is that, you know, God makes those situations to show you who needs to be there and who isn't supposed to be there. And it's yes, I love having my hands in everything, but that doesn't mean I'm not open to suggestions or help. I'm so open to collaboration and help and all that. But when it comes to something that like I've sat down and explained, like I want it this way, for someone to come and say, no, that doesn't look right. Like that's where it's kind of like,
It's hard. And I'm, you know, even in doing radio for a long time, I've always tried to get partners and individuals to come in. And I'm at a station where our owner, who is kind of behind the scenes right now, gives me that freedom to do it the way I like, with input, of course. But it's hard to somebody who is always been their own boss to come in and like, you can't tell me who I am.
Exactly.
You can kind of help me shape and mold it, but you can't tell me who I am.
Exactly.
And that's people are learning from a space of not knowing the business or not learning the business. So they're doing what comes natural to them. So it tells you a lot about a person's character.
And then there's also like there's a I think that's probably a different subject too, but just like a way of saying things. Like it's not like how it's not what you say, it's exactly how you say it. Um I'm a adult and everyone I work with is also adults. So we can have a conversation where you're like, hey Wit, that's not I don't know. Hey Wit, let's try it this way. And if you don't like it that way, we can go back to the original way.
Or
Then that
what is it that you want, Wit? What is it
right,
what you want?
right.
And then
Not
let me help you translate that.
right. Yeah.
But
So
I'm seeing that more in the industry now. People are taking more ownership of their own identity versus
yeah,
letting a machine create them or crank
exactly.
out an image. Um,
Because
her,
who wants to be that? Who wants to be
mhm. Hey, Haraya, I think I'm saying your name right. Am I rolling my eyes? Oh, no, I'm not rolling my eyes.
oh,
But sorry, Haraya. But I, I, I'm really, and I said this to you the last time you came on. I'm really pleased with just the growth, and I kind of keep up with you on your social media as well. But I'm very impressed by how you kept it moving. Like if there was things going on, we would never know because you just kept it professional, and we kept seeing work come from you. Even throughout your pregnancy, we just saw you continue to work and still doing photo shoots and still, giving us samples of who you are. And I know people who are miles ahead of you
yeah.
who aren't that consistent.
Right.
So
Thank you so much. That's my husband and my daughter.
you
Uh,
find that's life. This is real. This is
right.
Zoom
Real
life
life.
right now. We're in
So,
virtual world. Everything is shown. But how has the new projects been in terms of creating throughout this?
you can go ahead. Go ahead. So in terms of creating throughout this process, most of everything has been, I don't want to waste time and money because time is money. So
Yes.
I really just sit and write everything first, and then I plan out how I'm going to use the studio time. Um,
Mm,
and I'm thankful that I had a partnership with an amazing studio. So whenever I was ready to go in, I could do so. And then also
mhm.
like building, I'm independent. So it's like I don't really have a budget just given to me. So it's like sitting down and budgeting my entire life and still cutting out some to go towards my dreams because for where I want to be at, it's going to take a little bit more money. Me being a mother and an independent artist and a wife is just like let's compartmentalize and also utilize the resources that we have. And
Mhm.
I'm also lucky to not only be talented in singing and songwriting and dancing, but I'm
Right.
also talented when it comes to like makeup and hair and things like that. So it's like I don't have to put money into that. I can just do that in house.
Right.
And then it's also yeah, it's been quite easy. It just takes a little longer. So the reason why my album hasn't been dropped yet isn't because I'm not working on it. It's more
Mhm.
so like it's going to take me a little bit longer because I'm doing it all by myself. And then because I'm doing it all by myself, I'm a perfectionist,
Right.
and I will record the same song 50 times if it needs
Oh
to be
wow. But
before I
I don't like the new wave of artists feeling like they're being rushed by the
Mhm.
audience, and
Yeah,
I don't like the audience rushing an artist because that's
yeah,
not how it's been in the past.
at
Because
all.
we used to wait,
Yeah.
and one of the things that every rapper or R&B singer that comes on here, I always point them to the direction of gospel, rock, and country music. Those
Mhm.
people live on singles, not even a whole album, but on singles for
Mhm.
4 or 5 years, and they
Yeah.
make their money. A lot of it is touring, but a lot
Yeah.
of it is them not being pressured to crank out
It's
music,
very true.
or because if you just put out something 10 months ago creatively, I don't want to see something 10 months later because I don't
Yeah.
feel like you're really giving me your all. You're giving me something that is a watered down version of what you probably could give to me. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't like that new world of kind of cranking out music and feeling like you gotta put out something
Yeah.
when just to appease the audience that's in a microwave generation right now. But
Very true.
do you, and you can definitely do things in between. That's why I like this pandemic because it's given us an opportunity to show different sides of ourselves
Right.
without feeling like we have to rush and create something and show it to the world and prove that we're talented. It's let us to kind of take our time and move through the process and not feel hurried
Right. Yeah.
along. Is it anything that you tried throughout this pandemic that you hadn't had time to do before,
So
creatively or?
creatively, I went back and started playing with my piano a lot more.
Okay.
Around with different genres of music to write. I think going back to your first, the last question, I think I'm in the middle because I feel like not that no one's watching me because I'm so
Right.
thankful for the supporters that I have and they go hard for me and I love them so much and I'm happy that with anything that I put out they support me. But I do feel like there's no rush for me because whenever I drop anything, that's when I'm gonna drop it because I haven't put out much in 3
Right.
years. My
Right.
last drop was 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So no, I'm not at all in a rush, but I do kind of like rush myself. Like I have fire under my own ass to get something
Mhm.
that's been 3 years. But I'm also like, what you do put out needs to be of quality and needs to be of what you want and what's because it's representing me for me. I'm
Mhm.
independent. Me, all of
But you
me.
also have to live life though. Like
Yeah,
especially music artists, I want you
yeah,
to live a little bit. I want you
yeah,
to grow. It's not like an actor that I gotta find another job before this job is over, or I gotta
yeah.
do another play or something. But it
Hmm.
is really you have to live life because I don't want people keep making up stories. I want you to talk about your life and your real experiences and
Yeah,
not just just filling us with a lot of filler. So I
yeah.
appreciate you taking your time because I'm quite sure the person you were 3 years ago is not the person that you are today. So
Hell no.
now when you writing, it's coming from a for real place, and
Literally,
I think that is what we're missing now because a lot of people are writing from experience, but they're having to fill it with some fluff
yeah.
and nonsense to make it appealing when your
Mm,
story alone is appealing. But if you'd have gave yourself the time to live and experience, then
yeah.
you would have been
You know
great.
what's so crazy? Like, definitely, I'm definitely a different person from 3 years ago. I was just transferring to Bowie State from American University, like,
Oh
just
wow.
a whole different, cultural shift
Hmm.
for me.
A
From
smaller school too.
WI, a smaller school, which in
Hmm.
Bowie, the culture there is just completely different.
Yeah.
The arts there is just magnificent, and like the way that there's so much talent at Bowie, and the way that they just do things fashion wise, and just everything at Bowie is completely different, a different shit for me.
That's the
So
HBCU for you. That's why
yeah,
they tell you go.
was I
Get
just
to that
wasn't
H.
I wasn't ready, and so
Hmm.
moving forward, it was more so like, is my daughter screaming? I'm so sorry. She's with her father right now, but she's screeching. But yeah, I'm definitely different. I was a younger, immature, just wide-eyed, bushy-tailed girl, and now I'm married with a daughter.
Mm.
And like even within the first year of my marriage, we've been through so much. So it's just like, yeah, the music that I'm going to be putting out going forward is just a complete 180 from the music that I put out from Crazy and Emotions and things like that. Like I was crying over boys, and now I'm speaking from like a motherly, nurturing,
Hmm.
spiritually awakened perspective. So yeah, it's
But
different.
that says a lot about that will say a lot about you in your
Mhm.
writing because you are expressing that and that shows growth. And it's not like you 50 years old still talking about chasing some
Yeah, no,
dude. Like
oh,
that's a little sad. But that's life. If that's your life, I'm not judging you. Do
yeah.
you, boo? But it shows a lot of growth, especially if you incorporate that into your music, just the growth. I just like when I see singing. That's why I don't like listen to a lot of stuff. And it's not shading any of the artists right now. But when
Mhm.
you're listening to stuff that this person has never gone through, and it's like I mean, just I don't really even know a lot of the singers right now that are
Mhm.
currently out. When I just looked at the what was that, the Grammys, or
Yeah,
I didn't know half of those people.
it's always
I
for
Yeah.
me. Like for the past couple of years, it's always been like that. Like, who the hell are these people?
Right.
But they Grammys.
Mm.
So,
I
yeah.
know this shit where, you know, in terms of accolades, because that's more of an accolade for
Mhm.
performers. Are you
Mhm.
ready for that level of it yet? Or are you focused more on the work right now?
Am I ready? I'm gonna say yes, because of course I'm gonna manifest that for myself. So yes, I'm ready for it. But I'm really focused on like the quality of my work.
Uh-huh.
I'm also like I'm always learning and I'm always trying to perfect my craft, and I'm always
Mm-hmm.
trying to like I'm still getting voice lessons, and I'm still working out every day so that when I perform, I don't sound out of breath. Like I just had a huge change to my body. Like I'm 20 pounds bigger than I was before when I was performing. So like performing
It's
new
always the
body.
skinny people that's always talking about 20 pounds heavier. Like, you can't even sell it. What is it in your hair? Is it your hair that grew? Like,
It's in my very much. Like I appreciate you calling me skinny though, because I be looking at my pictures like, Lord, you could like
well, that's
play the
good. You
weight.
eating. That's good. That means you got a
Yeah,
hot meal in
I
front of
do.
you every night.
I
That's
eat
good.
well. And meat, because yes, I eat very, very well. But it's just I don't know. I think that's just like society thing for me.
Yeah.
And also because I watch a lot of old Beyonce interviews and Michael Jackson interviews, and I read up about how they were developed and trained so that I can do that for myself.
Mm-hmm. It's a great blueprint, but I always, even for me as an artist, it's not even what I tell a lot of my students. But you have to define who you are. And most of those people who we love that are unmeasurably talented, they all were different from the next. You saw the inspiration that they got from others, but
Yeah.
they had their own voice, they had their own style, they had their own look. And I think often we try to fit ourselves into it. And as a performer, for me, I've had to learn, and without, so I wouldn't drive myself crazy, how to be me and
Right.
unapologetically and just me, consistently me. Because we'll drive ourselves crazy trying to fit into somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I don't think I would ever want to fit into their shoes. I think that I want to be trained that way. Like I
Yeah.
think that's the way that for the entertainer that I want to be physically fit as an athlete. I want my voice to be
Yeah.
physically fit and like physically strong in order to do all of the riffs and the chest thing that I want to do, and my falsetto be just as strong as my chest voice. Like that's what I want to be, the best performer that I
Right.
can. I don't at all think that my music sounds anything like Beyonce's, but I do admire her stage presence. I do really love the way that she performs, and I love her agility on the stage. And so I'm going to train myself to be at that level when it comes to performing. Not exactly like it, but
Yeah.
that's where I aspire to be, because no one's performing like that right now other
Yeah.
than Doja, which is crazy to me. And
Oh, it's just certain things. Love you, Doja, for who you are.
right.
I just want people to be authentic to themselves. I want people to be mindful of their platform and how powerful it is. So it's no shade to Doja, but I just don't feel a lot of these younger artists are being consistent with themselves. It's all about getting the bag.
Of course.
And that seems to be it. It doesn't, I don't see how it's fueling them, because I don't care how rich or wealthy you are, it's not going to make you a better person, and it's not going to help you clean up things that you've made mistakes with in the past. So it's really important that we, figure out who we are as individuals as this thing grows, and don't just chase the bag, because you'll be going in that circle forever. And I think we talked about that the last time we were here. Like,
I don't think
going
I'll
in circles.
ever. I don't think I'll ever do it for money, because right now I'm doing it and I'm not getting no money. I'm losing out on money. It's just, and yes, I do think that I'm still in the process of learning who I am, because before, like, oh, I can be sexy and that can just be my brand. But then I'm a mom and a wife, and it's like, wait, I can still be sexy, but how do I do it in a way that still speaks true to who I am now? I write music. How do I write music in a way that allows me to empower other women who are also moms and wives to still be able to be sexy and sassy and classy at the same time.
And being true to where you are in life. You're still a young lady, so you still have urges. You know, you have a new husband, so you have, but that balance of it. And that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Just having that balance of it, like being who you are and being authentic in that, but at the same time, because your child not gonna believe that they was immaculately conceived. So, but understanding teaching us a lesson along the way. Like I liken that concept to like a Toni Braxton. She was always sexual, but she was never like pornographic.
Yeah.
So she was able to still, and look at her, she's still topping the charts into her 50s now. So that's a great inspiration and a great vibe. But I think a lot of that was training though. And we spoke before when you came on that whole idea of artist development. That's not as significant anymore because they want you to come already prepackaged.
Yes.
Your own audience, your own look, your own everything. And then they can just push you from that.
Yeah. So here's the question I have for record labels who do that. Like, what is the work that you're going to do for the money if I'm coming already packaged?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm coming to the audience already, you're not doing any work other than putting money into some promotions that I could have paid for.
Some physical flyers and such like that. But
you know
and I think that's what I want to hear from artists like you as you are growing. I want to hear that conversation, not just I gotta get this bag. But no, I want to hear the conversations you're having. I know we can't be in a room, but I want to hear that reflected in, say, your interviews or your articles that's being written. Like, what's the conversation? Because I think a lot of younger artists now, I got to get the bag by any means necessary. So people they're not even cultivating the audience. They just buying them. I'm a body's likes. I'm a body's audience instead of cultivating them.
Yeah. And I think that's what the entertainment industry turned into very, very quickly. Now everybody can be a singer, rapper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Nope. And it pisses, like when it first started happening, it used to piss me off so bad because it's like there's people who like me who've been singing and dancing and acting since I was like born. And it's frustrating that like people can just get on these platforms and have followers and be like, oh, I'm a rapper now, I'm a singer now. Not even haven't been doing it for only a day.
Twerk their way through it.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Well, I think, but understand also the way you were trained, especially throughout theatrically. That's a certain training that a lot of people just would not be able to handle. Look how many people were kicked out of the department or walked off and never came back. That's the type of training that most people can't handle. Most people can't handle constructive criticism. And for a theater artist, you're going to get it to your face. It's not even going to be a question of, did that person say that about me? Because you go hear it being spoken directly to you. And a lot of people can't take that constructive criticism. A lot of people they don't know what rehearsal is. Oh, I got this. I'll be good. No, because you realize the day of, all those lines go out your head because you didn't put the work into maintaining them and retaining them. But, even look now, like your training probably helped you to be better prepared for this pandemic than the person who just wanted to be a singer because she saw such and such getting money for it. So.
And then for real, there's not a lot of money in music for real. Unless you can perform and you tour, there's not a lot of money in music. Like you're getting like 2 cents per stream. I mean, if you get a bunch, then yes, you can make a good living off of music. But music is like a passion. Like you have to be passionate about it because it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick thing unless you got people who already are in there and that can put money behind you. But yeah.
But I had a conversation with one of my friends on another show, and I gave him the comparison of a Whitney to a Mariah Carey. Whitney could sing circles around Mariah, but Whitney never wrote anything. She got producer credit for a lot of things, but that's still not writing credit. It's still not at the top tier of writing credit. So this pandemic, a lot of people should have been putting their heart into learning to write their own songs versus trying to wait for somebody to buy them something and you can't do everything yourself. I'm not suggesting that we just shut down the game and every artist do everything because you'll put a lot of people out of work. But go into these meetings as a partner and not as an employee is
Mm-hmm.
very key, because right now a lot of people are only fanning it up because they didn't have anything. They don't have any royalties. They don't have any rights to any of their own projects, and that's beyond music. But you know, nobody
Yeah.
wants to resort to OnlyFans. I'm
Yeah.
not putting them down, but you know, it does
Yeah.
say a lot about their preparation.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? I've always advocated for me writing my own stuff. I've never,
Hmm.
even when I had management and they were trying to talk me into like getting songwriters, I was always against it because it's like, how can someone else write my story for me?
Yeah, yeah.
I have no problem with like teaming up with somebody and like telling them my ideas, and I write some, and then they say, oh, like give me some feedback on it. But to outright just say, oh, here's a song, you're going to sing it, I never felt comfortable with
See,
that
that's
because
control again. Understanding
yeah,
it's not just I don't believe in you, but I want to make the money.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
it's control. It's a control factor because I believe in your talent because I
hmm
wouldn't be working with you. But
hmm
I want to be the person that at the bottom line getting paid all the money, and you have to be willing. If you're willing to deal with that, fine. But if you have a baby now and a family to take care of, and you don't want to be keep giving your money to somebody who ain't doing no work other than making a phone call,
yeah,
which is significant, and it's not taking away anybody's job, but you really want to look at what that really is. That's control. That's somebody wanting to get paid off of you and
yeah,
not willing to say, well, let's write this song together, or
hmm
and it's nothing wrong with somebody writing a song for you every
hmm
now and again, but if your whole album is full up with other people hits,
yeah,
then you hungry right now. I see a lot of performers that are hungry right now because they didn't
yeah,
write, and these are big artists that you
yeah.
see with their cash app up on their Facebook lives. And this, I understand the struggle, but
That's hilarious.
right, but with all the work that you've put into your career, you shouldn't be still at that level
Kinda.
of
Yeah,
working
getting
that hard.
donations.
Right,
Getting
right,
donations.
right, exactly. But in terms of where you want to go with your music
hmm
or your career in general, how are you preparing for that right now?
Um, where I want to go. I think I really just had this conversation with my husband yesterday. Because I have so many ideas and I want to do so many things, I had to narrow it down for right now.
Hmm.
Not that
Hmm.
I'm not ever going to do those things, but I had to really narrow it down so that I can focus on it and manifest that one thing first,
Right.
and then add those
Those
other
things will
things.
help
So
you. Hmm.
yeah, so of course I want to be a singer songwriter and I want to be a performer. That's the goal. I want to be a
Hmm.
Grammy award winning performer. I want to be an Oscar award winning actress. Like those are things that I want to do. That's the
Hmm.
goal. And how I'm preparing for that is just training every day. I'm writing a song, whether that be recording my process because people want to see that.
Hmm.
I was told that people want to see how I songwrite, or like people want to see my day-to-day life. So I'm preparing for that time when it comes by just doing the work now, taking each day slowly and just doing some of the work now, going to the studio when I can, writing songs, writing as many songs as I can. Whenever, literally when I'm at work and I have a song or like a melody in my head, I'll pull out my phone and record it. Like
Hmm.
those little things are building up for the big thing. Like I'm planning to drop a project next year, at least some videos next year. I'm planning a Christmas show for December 17th.
Hmm.
So those are the steps, the little tiny steps that I'm making for that
Okay.
big goal of mine. And I can only take it one day at a time because I have so many things I want to do. Because I also, when I get there or on the way there, I want to start advocating for women and talking about mental health and talking about
Hmm.
bullying, because those are things that I am passionate about. Those are things that I want to speak on so that younger women who were like me, who didn't have anybody to look up to, could have someone that they connect with. Because yes,
Hmm.
the entertainment world has changed a lot. And so the not so classy woman is not shunned or shamed as much as she used to be. However, there is a woman in between there who isn't trashy or isn't, you know, out there all the way, but isn't
Mm-hmm.
completely like, oh, turtlenecks every day and skirts
Mm-hmm.
past my knees. And they don't really have a voice right now. And I want to be that voice for them because I've been every woman that you could think of, for real. Like
Mm-hmm.
since I was 13 years old, just
Mm-hmm.
trying to find who I am in this world, trying to figure out what love was, trying to figure out what I needed in life, and searching for love in life at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
not really knowing about it, not really knowing, not being taught anything, or not
Yeah.
being taught what a classy young lady was, and having to learn that by myself. I want to be that voice for young women so that
Right.
people don't have to go through what I went through. So that my daughter knows better, and can have me as a reference. I didn't have an idol growing up. I praised Beyonce, but she wasn't like me. She
Right.
was a robot. Her father sheltered her, and she didn't go through half of the shit that I went through.
Right.
So to have someone like me who's like, yeah, I went through that, but I got over it, and what? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I went through that, and yeah, I did do that, but I am now here,
Is
and you
that the
can't
type
take
of
this from
content
me.
that you're posting on your YouTube now?
Yes, yeah. It's more so recently. It's been more so like vlogs of like me and my family, and then I just
Okay.
did an interview with an artist that's a super close friend of mine named Princess Jazz. I have an interview with her on there. She's an artist that I truly, truly like believe in. That I've been working with for a while, but she's also a really, really close friend of mine, and she's super, super
Mm-hmm.
dope, super, super sweet, and she really loves musical theater. So I'm doing the best that I can to push her as much as possible. Um, as long as well as like putting, you know, doing things for myself as well, but also like any opportunity that I can create for myself, I make sure I do for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into, a while ago I wanted to create a record label, but
Okay.
I realized that I'm not at the point where I'd be confident in my own abilities to help other artists at the moment to do it. So I'm just slowly but surely trying to figure out if I want to do that as well. Like I said, I
How
have so
about
many
more of a
different.
like a maybe like a charm school, or I don't want to call it artist development because sometimes people
It
get
could be
they
that.
get a little
It could
nervous
be
because they
that.
think you will be putting them in a boot camp. But
Oh
how
yeah.
about something where you're kind of helping them build themselves,
Yeah.
and in
Well, you
turn
can
the
call it
talent
that
will come out. Yeah, like a
for
charm
sure. You
school.
can definitely call it that
It was a little
because
ratchet from the BET days or the
yeah,
VH1 days, but
VH1 days.
but
Yeah,
I
it
think
won't be
that's
as ratchet.
necessary. I think
Yeah.
that's the part that's missing from this. And artists are being raw now, but I
Yeah.
don't think they're being real.
Yeah.
We're seeing, their relationships and them going from this to that. So that's the
Mhm.
rawness of their life. But the
Mhm.
realness of it is how they
Mhm.
feel, being cheated on in public, or, choosing a person over their career and then losing it
Yeah.
all. And,
Yeah.
so the honesty is gone and missing,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of artists in general, not just the young ones, because the older
Mhm.
ones need it just as bad, but
Yeah.
just that voice of reason,
Mhm.
and I just like I missed a moment because I have mentors, and I,
Mhm.
I don't see that as often. And the mentors
Mhm.
that are out there are showing them to do it their way versus, cultivating the piece of talent that you have in front of you and
Mhm.
kind of helping them to connect all their pieces together and not
Yeah.
just performance, get the bag, get the
Yeah.
big house, get the
Yeah.
bag, like
Yeah.
that's not sustainable, especially
Mhm.
with 2 cents off the dollar. That's
Yeah.
not, unless you're gonna be renting those bags in those homes, and you can't even afford to do that with
Leasing
two
them.
cents
Yeah.
off the dollar. The way
Yeah.
people are doing it now, but just kind of cultivating who they are, um,
Yeah.
and maybe and that's down the line, but maybe I can, we can talk about that a little bit more
Okay.
because that's something that even throughout this, I've been doing some
Mhm.
one-on-one lessons with people in terms of
Mhm.
training and
Mhm.
acting and public speaking, and it really
Mhm.
it you see what people are lacking,
Mhm.
because there is even school in being trained to be an actor. We wasn't trained to be professionals. We
Mhm.
were trained to be actors, professional actors,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
business side was left for us to
Yeah.
get as we
To
got
figure
it.
it out.
Right. So
Yeah.
you don't want people to keep going down the same roads that we've been through and dealing with shadiness or people
Yeah.
who aren't really who they say they are. So it really gets difficult, when you're having to do everything. So my level of support that I give to people is
Mhm.
based off me not having those things set up for
Yeah,
myself. So
definitely.
I think we need to infuse that into who we are, giving of
Definitely.
ourselves in that way.
I definitely can relate with you on that because that's kind of how I got into helping other artists is because I felt like I didn't have the help. I didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
support. So if I believe in you, I'm going to give you that help and I'm going to give you that
Mm-hmm.
support and I'm going to create opportunities for you because I know how it feels to not have it. And I feel like I would have thrived a lot more if I had that support. Because all it
Right.
is in entertainment is support. Like you don't have to pay me, but if you share my stuff and if you like my stuff and you tell your people you like me, that's enough as in paying me. Because it's like at least in the DMV area,
Yeah.
it's like a popularity contest.
Mm-hmm.
So
Real
it's like
cliquish.
right, you don't even have to pay me. You don't have to buy my song, but just tell
Mm-hmm.
your friends that you fuck with it. And
Yeah.
that's you paying me.
But
That's
see, that's
you
difficult. People will buy a ticket from you and not tell nobody about you
that they
or
did it. Yeah.
not support. Like support for me. I was just watching something. My church sermon is
Hmm.
online now, and that was
Hmm.
what the pastor was saying. She was saying, I'm taking down all the church, Instagram and all the things that I need for you to pay us, how you could pay us, our Vimeo and all that. And I just want you to share this out to somebody. If you just
Hmm.
share it out, that is much more profitable and much more worthy
Hmm.
of you as an audience and spectator
Hmm.
as it is if you just donated
Hmm.
some dollars to the church. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, don't you need the money? But we need people to hear it. We need people to, and then like right now, a lot of things are closing down because nobody is talking about
Yep.
the things that they're supporting. So that
Hmm.
place isn't really flourishing because of lack of support,
Yep.
of residual support.
Yep. That's
Is it
literally.
difficult for you to, in terms of the support thing, is that something that has been difficult for you to cultivate, or how have you cultivated that level of support?
um, if you would have asked me this like months ago, I would have been like, I don't have any support. But after like being grateful for the
Mm,
little bit of like not to say like the little bit of support, but like being grateful for just one person liking my song, being
mm-hmm,
grateful for just one person liking my pictures, one person liking what I'm doing, like that is enough. That's a support right there.
right.
That's somebody saying, wow, I think she's really talented and I'm willing to sit here and watch her perform. And that's
Mm,
enough because some
yeah,
people can't get that.
yeah,
And then I also realized like spiritually inside, like you have to be grateful in order to receive. Like you can't
yeah.
be ungrateful and still want more. Like, so I have a great support system. I
Mm-hmm,
have an amazing husband who supports me. I have friends who supports me. I have a team of dancers who are down the ride for me. I have people on my Instagram who watch every song I have,
mm-hmm,
who love Crazy, who repost it, who love Emotions, who sing it to me all the time, like who want me to sing
yeah.
it all the time. And
But
to
that's what we should
imagine,
focus on. I think a
yeah,
lot of artists should focus on that versus
yeah,
trying to.
and not
It's
the,
great to engage and expand your reach,
yeah,
but we do that at the cost of kind of pushing out the people who come to every show. That's
yeah,
always looking at what's being updated. That adds you
yeah,
to their fan list.
yeah,
Pay attention to those faithful followers. It may be
yep.
five of them, but pay
But
attention to that
hey,
five, because that five will always, each one of them will
always
bring
be there.
somebody or
It will always
tell
be there.
somebody. Right. Look how many
Yeah.
people are seeing you because of those faithful, five in a
5
corner
people.
versus those
And
5,000 fair weather that is only with you when you hot. But,
yeah.
it I think people get it sometimes. Some people get it um later than others, but
Hmm.
I'm proud of you that you've gotten it at this age, because it's, as a performer, a lot of these lessons I didn't get till I was almost 30 or after 30. And that's
Hmm.
a hard time to really um to to really deal with it that way. But
Hmm.
can you tell us a little bit about what you had with the music that you're preparing for right now. I know the album itself isn't ready, but tell us a little bit about where you are. And while you're doing that, I'm going to run and get my charger because I just realized my computer not plugged up. So tell us a little bit about where we can find you at on social media, one, and then the new music that you have coming up.
Okay, so I'm currently working on about 8 to 14 songs for my album. It's not completed yet, but majority of the songs are finished. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at I am Whitney Chancello. That is IAMWHITNEYCHANCEL. And if you put my name in like Google, make sure the CHANTE, the E has an asterisk over it. And L, because there's two Whitney Chancellos. I know, crazy. There's two Whitney Chancellos. I'm the pop singer. There's a Whitney Chancello that is a gospel singer. I'm the pop and R&B singer. It's crazy because my grandfather already also went through something like that when he was an artist, but you know, we just reincarnate. So I'm just him again. But yeah, the songs on my upcoming album will be more so about like my family, about my life in general. It won't just all be about love, but of course there's some love songs in there, some sexy songs in there as well. But it's more so like a growth journey. It's the journey through my life.
Is there any songs on there that stick out to you the most?
I have a song called Questions and a song called Lie to Me. Those two are my favorite because it made me get out of my box, which was talking about love. I mean, Lie to Me is talking about love, but it's more so talking about like knowing that someone is lying to you and knowing that and being okay with it. And for me to write from that perspective was definitely from experience. And it was definitely from like a, do I want to be this honest kind of perspective. Because it was a very vulnerable place that I was in to be honest that I could possibly go through something like this. But I felt like it was important because I'm not the only one going through that. Like girls get lied to all the time and they know what's going on and they still stay. And it's like, okay, I'd rather that than to have to start over with somebody else because I love you. And Questions was more so like an angry song. I was really, really angry with like life and family and friends. And I was like, how do I turn this energy into something positive? And I wrote Questions, and that was more so like to people who hate on me, to people who hurt me, to people who may think negatively about me. Like, that song is for you. And I think I sung both of these songs on my live, my concert that I just had. You can find that in my bio on Instagram. I am Whitney Chancello.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of it should be scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find those two songs there. I definitely performed both of those songs, and I tend to like showcase little snippets from my album before it comes out. So that was that.
How do you keep doing this at the level that you're doing it on? I don't want to know like your financial statements or your budget, but how do you keep going and continue? Because it's hard. People don't know. Photo shoots cost money. Videos cost money. You know, space costs money. So how do you keep it?
I just pick and choose what's important and what's not important. I try not to spend money on things that is frivolous. Like, I try not to just be like, okay, we're having rehearsal here all the time. Or what I do is I try to, I'm a businesswoman, I try to meet and make connections and build relationships with people that, I can collaborate with. And then that usually helps me and leads me into better positions to fund my career. I do everything by myself. My husband's money is not put into this. It's all my money. It's all me. So I just, pick and choose what I want to spend money on and what's important. And right now, what's important is getting the music recorded and then performing. Those are the main things so that I can have content to give to my audience who is waiting on it, or to people who just don't expect it. So yeah, that's how I just hustle and then I save and I plan. That's about it.
And you just said it, what the things that are significant to you, because I think that's what we go to first. Like, there are certain skill sets that you have. So you're not paying somebody to make you up every time, like you said earlier. But again, you're not trying to, wear the latest anything just
Hell no.
because it will look good in the video. Because
No.
ultimately, are they, you spending all that money to dance in some stilettos that you're going to
Right.
wear down anyway? So why give the illusion that's not there? Because then that's
I've
going to force you to
never,
do things to keep that up that you shouldn't be
yeah.
doing.
And I've never been the type to spend like thousands of dollars on like a pair of shoes. Like I've always been a very frugal woman when it comes to clothes, but I also have a lot of clothes, and I have a lot of like cheap clothes, not like cheap, but like, affordable clothes.
Right.
Like I make sure I get multiples of things that I can see my dancers wear, and then we reuse them if we need to. Like I make sure that, I have multiples of certain outfits so that they have, and then I also have like one outfit for me that matches them, but is clearly the center outfit for myself, and I keep it for years. Like my closet is an entire room because I know that I'm a performer, and I know that, and then I also like I make wigs, and I make sure I keep them for later, like, and reuse them. Like I plan for those things so that I don't have to outsource. But I do have a stylist who has no problem coming out if I have the money and styling us. But I do plan for that. Like if I go shopping, I make sure if I see something that's affordable, I'll take it, keep it for later for a video shoot for one of my dancers or something like that. So yeah, my closet is huge because I've been saving clothes for years. Like I went to Duke Ellington and I saw how they kept a costume shop. So I was like, I need to have a costume shop. So that's what it is.
And it's crazy, but I tell people to, even if, acting isn't something you want to do, try to take some classes or go to a community theater and do a production. And you'll see, even if it's as a techie or something, see what it takes. Because like you said, like most of my closet is costumes that I'm holding for, certain things or that I've done. You never know.
Yeah.
There's an emergency outside.
Right.
But it really does, you have to learn those things. Those are things that sometimes aren't a given that just come to you. Sometimes you have to learn those things. And I'm watching a lot of documentaries now, and I'm seeing that's a common thread. People spending money before they get it, or as soon as they get the first check, they go buy everybody a house and a car, and not thinking about 10 years from now, or if there's a pandemic and we stuck in the house for 10 months, what are we going to do and how are we going to live? And and people just not understanding it. And it's just money management skills. Was that something that came natural to you, being frugal, or was that a learned trait?
It was a learned trait from my father, because my father is very, very frugal. Like he is extremely frugal.
And we laugh at people like that, but
but I learned that like there's a reason why he's that way. He has 3 kids, and anything can happen to him at any point. So he's probably like that because he's planning for those things. But it also taught me that like you have to work for what you want. 1, 2, make sure you save up so that if you have an emergency, you're able to cover it. And 3, put money towards the things that you want in life. Because nothing worth having is free or easy. So I used to be so upset with him. He would have the money to help me and not do it, but it was also because like he probably knew that I could do it on my own if I just put my mind to it and just like teaching me lessons.
It's much better. It's much better when you learn how to get it yourself. It's more fulfilling, and it lasts longer when you do it yourself. Because now, if you knew you just had an endless, blank check over there, it would not mean. It probably wouldn't mean as much to you now, and you probably wouldn't have enough for yourself and your family. And it's lessons that. Some of those things I wish I had at a younger age, because it would have saved me from a lot. But I see the value in it now, learning how to spend money and what to spend money on. And I get more excited buying supplies. Like throughout this, I had to kind of make a studio at home. So I'm getting more excited on Amazon. I'm looking through Amazon like ain't nothing
Amazon
in
got
here.
everything.
for me, like it's nothing. Like I may have bought a couple pairs of shoes because they were on a deep discount, but
Mhm.
other than that, I bought jewelry supplies and art supplies and stuff to be a teacher and to build a studio, and those things mean more to me,
Mhm.
and those things are gonna help me to be able to buy stuff that I want and not
Yeah.
necessarily need. But
Yeah.
it's that's how you becoming mature because
Yeah.
things like that mean more to you than buying a pair of jeans from Old Navy on
Yeah.
Black Friday than it used to at one time.
Yeah. And what also pushed me to be more financially aware is I
Mhm.
got scammed in the beginning of COVID. I got scammed. And that really opened up my eyes to say that money like comes and it really, really goes. And because of it also showed me that we're in a place and time where people will do anything to steal.
How did
Um,
that feel though? Because I don't think many people they've probably been through that, but that feeling without you don't have to tell us necessarily the story, but how did that feel? Especially if it was something that you wanted and you
I
like
had so in the beginning of quarantine, I had a job and I got furloughed
okay.
and I had been working there not for too long because I was pregnant prior to
Hmm.
that, so I wasn't working there for too long. But they told us to sign up for unemployment. I had waited for this check for so long. I had even gotten a job. I had gotten a new job and just got paid from them, right?
Hmm.
And they had finally given me my unemployment check, and it was like back pay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had all this money. I was like, oh my God, my daughter's birthday. Like, yay. Like, I finally have money that like I can like pay. Da, 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 da. And I got scammed. I got a call and got scammed. And
Mm,
the feeling still hurts to this day.
yeah.
Um, Not because I don't feel like that money will ever come back to me, but it just was like like people don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
people just don't care.
I think I just posted that today. Like, what goes through the mind of a scammer when they're taking from people that are struggling like they are? Like, I don't, I understand. I don't agree, but I understand when you steal from somebody that's uber rich because you
Yeah.
feel like they can get it back. But when you stealing from somebody that's right beside you, like like, it
And
makes no sense.
it wasn't thank God I just know how to hustle and I just know how to get a job. So I wasn't
Yeah,
like without, but they took everything. Like
yeah,
they didn't leave me with nothing. Like they took everything. And I didn't even see it coming until after it was all done because the way that they did it was just like they scare you into doing that.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
and I don't know. To this day, it still hurts, but I don't feel like the universe is going to let that just slide. I feel like the universe got me covered and I'm good. Like
yeah.
that money may be gone, but it's going to come back to me tenfold. And they'll get theirs. Karma is going to get them, you
And
know?
but see, it's you learning the lesson that
Yeah,
makes
that
that
don't
karma
answer just
possible.
anybody phone call.
Oh no,
So
oh
now,
no.
like, I get random as like calls, and I don't answer none of them. I don't answer not nobody. If I don't have your number saved, I do not answer. So leave a message, and if I know you, I'll call you back. But I don't answer nobody's calls. Like, don't call me if I don't like.
No, don't join that club. Don't trade places with where I've been.
Nah.
Because it's something, and for some that's crazy, but I just posted that on my Facebook earlier today, like this morning, and it came because right now everybody has gotten the auto insurance call and
This
the
was passport.
school
Found your
loan.
passport in Texas. And what's funny is I actually lost my passport in Texas. So when they said that, I was like, oh shit, this gotta be real. Because usually I hang up the phone. But
Right.
no, it was fake for sure. It was fake.
Yeah, but it's definitely something that I think everybody, especially right now, and it really forced me. I had to wake up because I almost got,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just shopping, but you're trying to buy supplies for your company, and you happen upon something that is a good price, but always do your research, especially within the industry.
Yeah.
Do your research. People who don't have social media pages, I'm real leery of them because the first thing I do is try to look and see if we have anybody in common or somebody who I can be like, do you know this person? Have they been scammed by this person before? So that's the type of things that I do now. I'm learning how to dig deeper. Yeah, dig deeper.
I knew someone I used to work with, and I was like, oh yeah.
Don't give them your credit card.
I did.
But in terms of you now being able to be more in control of how you pick your team and how you pick your content, how does it feel now to really have ownership over your creativity and your business?
It feels freeing. Not that I only worked with my manager for a very short period of time, but in that period of time, I realized I'm talented on my own. I do not need anybody to tell me anything because I'm such a driven person that I'll just get up and do it regardless. And I realized that I don't want a manager. I want a partner. I want someone who's going to just partner with me. Don't try to control everything about me. And if you like me so much that you want to work with me, understand that like I do everything myself. And I'm very passionate about doing everything myself. So you come in and just be like, okay, yeah, we're changing all this because it's not going to work.
How are you learning how to, one, ask for all those things and require all those things, but still trust the process? How are you learning how to do that? Or what work are you putting into preparing to trust?
Anybody that I work with now, outside of working with them, I talk to them. I normal conversations. Getting to know someone outside of work is very important when you're working with them like this. Like it's very, especially things that are personal to you. I feel like I have to get to know you first as a person. What are your values? What are your morals? What can you bring to me to improve the situation? And what can I do for you? Like, what is the agreement? Also, putting contracts in place is 100% important to me when I'm working with anybody, my dancers, my stylists, anything. You have to be under a contract because I don't want you to look at me and say, oh, well, you promised this. And I'm like, huh? I'm because I do so many things. So I sit down and I say, so while we're working with each other, what do you expect of me? And what I expect of you. And then we come to an agreement and I type it up and we sign it. And that's what that is. And we keep it. Just because I've been in situations where like people say that I didn't hold up my end of the bargain, but we've never even agreed on that. So I just, to cover myself, to cover everybody, that the transaction is not that it's transactional, but you get what I'm saying. Like just to make the partnership easy. So everybody knows what their position is and what they're doing and what they're getting out of it, because I don't want to be looked at as someone who didn't uphold. I'm a woman of my word. I'm going to uphold my end of the bargain. I'm not, I don't want that to be anything that anybody can say about me. So I just make sure I put contracts in place. So
it's so important. And it's something that, especially when we're familiar or we're excited about what we're doing, we often be like, oh, no, this could be cool. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And then
it always does go wrong.
All your content belongs to someone else, or, that type of deal. And nothing was ever put in writing. And that's, it's something that I've always thought about and worked towards, but doing this, me really going down and me kind of going through everything that I've done over the last like 10 years and realize a lot of it could have been much more productive or prevented had I just had something in writing, or it would have been an easier thing for somebody to come to me and say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I've kicked out money for a film that never got shot. And I had to pay, you doing a music video, you still have to pay deposits to people to be able to do stuff. I had to pay all those deposits and still don't have a film. Like, and it was crazy, but those people made a contract with me. So I had to uphold my contract, but this person got to skirt out and be good. And it's something that everybody from the person who brings you something to eat, you got a contract with Uber Eats. It says if it's not delivered, you get your money back. Like that's the expectation. You bring me my food and you get paid. Right. But you have to put that same lesson with the people that you're working with, even within your passion.
Yeah.
That's that's a hard lesson. I'm
Yeah.
raising my hand, and I've been guilty
Yeah.
of going off of friendships and relationships and a feeling versus no, that needs to be in black and white.
Literally, like I said earlier, I love my dancers so much, but I wanted, when I started working with them, I wanted them to know like what they're getting into, what their expectations of me and what my expectations of them were, so that there were no gray areas, so that no one say, hey, or like just keep me accountable what our agreement is, just in case I start slipping up, or just in case you start slipping up. And it's not that I don't love them, it's not that we're not cool, not that we're not friends, but at the end of the day, it is a business. It is a business. And so even I can put, it's just like tilting off two different hats. Okay, now I'm boss, okay, now I'm friend. Like So yeah, and I really had to do that because I went through situations where like I shot a music video and that music video is not coming out, not because I don't want to put it out, but because there were people involved that made that situation uncomfortable for me. And I'm just not, I'd rather just wipe my hands clean of it instead of going through drama.
Were you safeguarded through that in terms of a contract where you had power over whether it came out?
There was no contract, and the person that made the situation difficult for me wasn't even like a director or anything like that. It was just they were helping me, and I had been working with this person for a while, considered them a friend and everything like that. But things happen and people's attitudes clash.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, there's no friendships in business.
Yeah, but it's crazy because like I'm able to collaborate and be friends with people. It's just respect. It seemed like there was no, I would say, hey, like I said earlier, it's a certain way you say things, not what you're saying. It's not necessarily what you're saying, it's how you say it to me. Yeah. They didn't feel like they needed to respect me. That's all.
And it's and that happens a lot in this industry, and it's really it's unfortunate, and I'm just saying, if I knew half the stuff I know now at 37 when I first got into doing this professionally, even on the academic level, I would have saved myself so much money. But I'm valuing the lessons that come, because now I can see that in somebody and be like, nope, have a nice day, I'm good. But unfortunately, there's no friendships in business. But because we can be friends once we off the clock. But in terms of us being friends doing this, it costs. And it's not even that. In certain situations, it's not even that either us have ill intentions. It's just the power struggle happens. So we rely on our friendship to get us out of it. But we both want to get paid after this. So that goes out the window.
Yeah. Or we both want. Yeah.
It's real. I mean, it and you even looking back at it, look at where that line was crossed, that friendship line was crossed. So were you doing everything you were supposed to do, or were you kind of cutting corners because we friends? Like, no, I want the same thing that you would give to another person that was paying you. And right now I'm all for collaborations in terms of us getting paid and us working. But right now, I don't want to really work with anybody that's not getting paid unless that's our agreement that we're both making. In terms of in terms of us moving forward. I don't ever want to work for somebody that say, well, that he got all this and I helped and I put that and I did this and I did that and that wasn't our agreement. So now you blasted me because you didn't say what you really wanted or what your intentions were.
Bingo! People will sit there people will sit there and not tell you what they're comfortable with. They will sit there and like say, yeah, cool, that got it. Day of come negative as hell. And then be like, well, I don't do this and I don't do that and I don't do this. And it's like, well, if you would have just communicated that, then we could have worked it out. But I'm not going to sit here and take that
But
because
now it's on you now to initiate that conversation
yeah.
because people, but I'm telling you, even in doing that, even after getting the contract, people will still have intentions that they hide from you. Whether
Yeah.
it be using your clout to get to this person or using
Mhm.
this opportunity to say they did this. So people are still going to do that. That's why a contract is very necessary. And I regret in many situations not getting contracts because
Yeah.
it has cost me. Most times it's cost me money. And
Yeah.
as an artist, every dollar counts,
Mhm.
even long term, every dollar counts. So putting yourself in a situation where you're ridiculed, that'll go away after a while. People stop talking about it. But when
Right.
you missing chunks of your money and chunks of your time, you can't get that stuff back sometimes.
Literally, that's what I'm about to say. It's not even just about the money, it's about time. Like
Yeah.
not because it wasn't just me in that project, there was other people. They're looking at me like, oh,
Yeah.
why my time with her? And it's like it's not even
Mhm.
that. Like I appreciated the time. It was just the back end of that project was way more
Yeah.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
time consuming than just yeah. So
But better you learn the lesson now than when it's millions of dollars in the mix
yeah, and then
and you being sued.
yeah, it's to just say I love you, but I'm gonna have to love you from afar
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
appreciate your work for me. I appreciate the creativity that you brought to me during the time that we did, but
And when I really learned that lesson coming out of college,
mhm,
because the whole purpose, I tell people this all the time, the whole purpose of this show was supposed to be for the people who I went to college with.
mhm,
And doing business with friends, it was like, didn't we make an agreement? And they like, well, no, that was all you.
I'm dead.
And I remember being left with a radio show the first couple months, like, am I really doing this by myself? Like, but having to then put on my head and say, well, what do I want out of this? And not letting the momentum stop because somebody didn't take it seriously or
Yeah.
somebody wanted to come in and leave out and do what
Mhm,
they wanted to do and
mhm.
then let you do all the work. So I learned that then, but it really has been a hard lesson moving forward because you don't really know who's there for you and who's there for their own
So,
personal intentions. That's what
yeah,
makes this journey harder.
yeah, especially when don't I would just say for whoever's watching, don't agree to something that you're really not okay with. Just don't.
Just to get done what you need to get done.
Yeah, because what's for you is not going to miss you. Like you're not going to need the person that you really don't want to work with. Like you're
Mm,
find later on what was for you. So don't agree, especially in this entertainment business. Like it's not worth it to just be working with somebody you really don't want to work with or doing things that you really don't want to
yeah.
do. Like put the work in and do what you want to do because it's going to be more fulfilling for you. That's all.
How does it feel to have these lessons learned right now? I know sometimes it can be hard, but how does it feel for you having these lessons learned right now? Like,
I feel I'm grateful for them because I am a
mm-hmm,
mother. Like I'm learning the hard stuff while my daughter is still young, so that I can.
mm,
But it's also painful because I'm such a loving and caring person, and I'm a genuine person. What you see is what you get for me.
right,
Like
right.
so, when I find out that people have hidden agendas or hidden like feelings towards me, it
Mm-hmm,
breaks my heart. It took me a very long time to bounce back from the situation I went through.
yeah,
Um, But I realized people who are for you are going to be for you. The universe does not miss. The God does not miss. He does not make any mistakes. So if that person
mm-hmm,
life, they'll be there, and you won't have to push it. You won't have to um, chase
yeah,
them or chase that opportunity because what's for you ain't gonna miss you. So I'm very grateful for the lessons that I'm making, and even if that leaves me with like me, my daughter, and my husband at the end of the day, because I want to be surrounded by genuine love because that's all I'm gonna give is genuine love and respect. And
yeah,
that's what I ask for is genuine love and respect around me. Anybody that you've ever seen me with or any friend that I've ever had is because that's genuinely someone that I care about, genuinely someone that I love. And I just genuinely want people like that around me. I've been around fake people all my life. I've never been fake. So I don't like that.
It's a lot of fake people in entertainment. It's just going to be, you
why,
will learn how to say hello to a fake person.
Yeah, I do. I know how to be cordial to a fake person. I do know how to say hi and bye, but you will never get that close. I'm just, me being an earth sign, me being a Taurus, I can't be fake. There's nothing, like, I can't even be fake to family members. So like, it just doesn't sit right with my spirit.
Right. But with that level of realness, you have to learn how to protect your heart, because often when people are that real, they get it the worst. Because people, they want to dig at that, because that's not a normal personality agreement that people have. But it really is, it's a valuable lesson. And I don't want anybody to be hard-hearted. You have to be a genuinely great person. You have to have a heart. You have to have a soul in what you're doing. And if you're choosing not to, hey, I ain't working with you, because I need compassion and I need love in the space, that energy to be that type of love. But as we come to a close to this situation, can you tell us where we can find you at on social media? Where do we send the checks? Where do we, how do we communicate with Whitney?
So for all things music, all things Whitney, I have 3 different Instagrams. My main one is I am Whitney Chancello. That's where you can find music, reels, YouTube, makeup, all of that there. For my makeup Instagram, it's Makeup by Whit without the E. And then where you can find like just me in general, on my main Instagram, you'll find like a link tree where you can find all my recent things, like my pictures, my music, anything like that. So yeah, just I am Whitney Chancello. And like I said earlier, there's 2 different Whitneys. I am the pop and R&B singer, there's a gospel singer. Chantel for me, L with the asterisk on top of it, and I am Whitney Chancello. You'll find me under I am Whitney Chancello every time, so don't worry about that. So yeah.
Okay. So that I'm Whitney Chancello, that main page is at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. And I always ask this last question, and I went back actually a couple of days ago to listen to what you said those 2 times, and I could tell where you were in life. The first time it was a real scripted answer. The second time I could tell you were coming off of something. But this time, what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? And what, I added a portion to it now. What advice, what question would you ask to your 100-year-old self? And what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
Damn, I don't know.
And it's okay if you don't have an answer, because that shows where you are in life. It just shows that you're growing in that moment.
What advice would I give to my 17-year-old self? I'll start with that. Focus on music. Love is going to come, regardless if you're ready for it or not, because smack me in the face.
I'm going to send you the link to that first show, and just skip ahead to the end, because I want you to hear yourself answering that question.
Okay.
Then compared to what you just said just now.
Focus on yourself. Hustle. Focus on yourself, because it's going to come. And what question would I ask my 100-year-old self? Dang. How does it feel? How does it feel to conquer? How does it feel to be so resilient? And how does it feel? I don't know, just how is it being?
And I suggest people as just a writing prompt to ask yourself that question periodically, whether it be every 6 months, every year, every birthday, whatever, every first of the year. It lets you know where you are, where you came from, and where you're thinking about going. And it's not to necessarily change anything, but you can, if it's negativity in your space or in your energy, it comes out in the answer in that question.
I can't wait to hear it. Do you know exactly what I said?
I know it. I'm gonna send you the link. You can't just tell me. But I could just tell the first one was just really really scripted. It was really like, I've gone through this media training. I know what to say at this moment. But that was the interview in general. And the second time, you were really like open. You were really open. You were really honest. And this time is a great balance of, you know, being very professional as you always have been, and just knowing what you want now. It just sounds like you are in control. And that's an honest space to be in. But I tell a lot of people this, that's a question that I ask myself periodically, not just when I'm in a bad space, but just as I check up. Every birthday I answer that question online, and I, you know, write it in my post, and I look back and I see what did I write this year, and I'm not good at the journaling consistency, so this is what this is how I get it out. But
I use my notes.
Yeah, it's a lot of like shorthanded stuff. I get that. So thank you again, Whitney. Anytime. I'm waiting. I want to see the baby the next time. So next time, have a baby ready.
I will.
She'll be a little bit older talking, but
my husband like picked her up and took her out. So.
See, he understands the gig. He understands it. That's great support system.
Thank you.
So thank you again. Everybody help me say goodbye to, so long, because I'll see you again, definitely. And I'll send you those links this weekend. So look out for them.
Be the one for this one, so I can post.
Okay, well, that's already in your Instagram. I already sent that to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
I love you. See you later.
Bye.
And let me know send me the links when the music come out.
I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So that's Miss Whitney, a lovely young lady. I always love when people come back and they return and they have a fresh new perspective. I just love having that conversation with them. So this has been the Artist Exchange. Don't forget, every Monday and Friday, the Artist Exchange radio show. I'm trying something a little bit different as we move forward, as we close out the year, and that'll determine who the guest will be. But so you'll see the post for that. Don't forget, every Tuesday, a new episode of the Binge Worthy Podcast will be out, and that's something that I'm trying. I may incorporate that into the show as well. I'm just trying to do different things, trying to expand myself, and we're doing a giveaway. Don't forget about the giveaway, $100 gift certificate where you can spend it any way you want to. All you have to do is make a purchase from www.bashtopbluejewelry.com, and every person that purchases it started on Friday up until December the 7th at midnight, every purchase will get you one entry into the raffle. And on the 7th, which is a Monday, I'll do the raffle live on air and pick the name out of the hat so everybody know. And then you'll be sent your $100 gift certificate. So help me, help me help you. And all of the support is very grateful, because it's getting me through this, as an artist, as a teacher, thinking about moving forward. This has been very taxing on us as artists. So I'm trying to figure out how to get through this. And I wanted to give a little bit back and support people in any little way that I can. So definitely stay locked in for that. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Please like, share, subscribe to the Big Exposed Radio page, YouTube page, and share this out. Share it to a friend. Tell a friend. If you want to be my guest, come on. And last but not least, if you're looking for a great place to bring your show, definitely stay locked in for that. So I'm excited. We have a new show on. So go to our Big Exposed page, watch all our content, share it, binge watch it, if you will. And this has been Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com. Oh.